The following program is an opinion program. The opinions expressed by the hosts and guests of this program are not the opinions of the management, staff, and advertisers of this station. Please direct all criticism, concern, and adulation to the hosts of this program.
Welcome to Alabama Politics. This week, I am Dale Jackson. I'm a radio talk show host. You can hear my shows from 5 to 9 a.m. on WVNN in Huntsville, and then in Birmingham from 10 until 11 on Talk 99.5. With me, as always, Mecca Music. She is the CEO of 256today.com. Smart news for smart people. We've got a very busy one today. We've got Grayson Everett joining us. He is with Yellowhammer News. We'll talk to him about some of the Space Command decisions, and we'll talk about that in a bit as well. I've got a party shot for you that kind of involves that, but it's actually Terry Sewell taking a lot of heat over the Space Command. And oddly enough, she came down on the right side, so she's getting blasted for that. So it should be a lot of fun there. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's get to that 2-minute warning. All right, Mecca, the Space Command decision finally is here, and I've heard some really bad takes on this, and I've enjoyed them all. It is about Tommy Tuberville. It is about Alabama's abortion law. Maybe it was a payback to Mo Brooks, a shot at Tommy, I already said that, a shot at Donald Trump, who made the decision. Barry Moore, he's the unacceptable one. I don't know, just choose whichever one works for you at this particular time. I personally think it is just Joe Biden saying, I don't want to do that. I'm going to leave it in the blue state. That could potentially be a swing state. I don't know, that seems to make a lot of sense to me. But that doesn't seem to be what people want to go with. They want to say it was Tommy Tuberville and his hold of the last couple of months that made Joe Biden delay this 2 years ago. Biden was really thinking this one through. What do you think about that? Was it Tuberville's fault?
No, I mean, did he make it easier? You know, maybe, perhaps. But like you said, this comes down on Biden's decision, and for the very reasons that you listed. However, I would argue this is definitely not over. No. And a lot of the things that are going to come out from this and the investigations and things like that, it's just going to be a mess.
Well, let me just say this. It is over. Okay, the Space Command is not coming here. The fight over it is not over. But the rest of it is absolutely over here. And I think that is done and said. And now the general who told the Alabama delegation, hey, Huntsville, it's a place for me. I mean, come on, I'm coming down there in a couple weeks. You know, you didn't say that last part, but he is coming here after this decision was made to North Alabama, and he's going to have to deal with this. I think everyone will be very nice, but I think it's weird. Why are they coming here? Oh, for space and missile stuff. Interesting. Maybe they should move the whole thing here.
Yeah, SMD is this very big event if you are not North Alabama centered, and everybody comes in. It's in Huntsville. It's next week, and yeah, I was also very much looking forward to being at that event.
He's a military man. He is fulfilling his mission. He probably said exactly what he thought. It should be in Huntsville, but he is not going to go against Joe Biden, nor should he. He's not supposed to be out there directly contradicting the commander-in-chief. No. He's got a mission. Roll with it.
Right, but I mean, I think the data and the rankings.
Oh, I'm with you on that. I'm just talking about him in particular, the general there. He's in a very hard situation.
Correct.
He really is. All right, well, let's move on to the AEA and the ALGOP. This is a hilarious story. I'll just tell you, there's already a little bit of a rule in the ALGOP that says, hey, stop taking that money. Stop taking that money from that mean old AEA and NEA group. Don't do it anymore. Well, too bad. It looks like some people are still going to continue taking that money as they've been doing. Go look at the amount of money that was taken in the last legislative session that would go and say, be from the AEA. It's an awful lot. AEA goes out and then directly says, hey, you know all those bills we killed? We did that. And then they started ticking them off. School choice, divisive concept bills, all those other things. Mecca, the new bill says, hey, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make it to where state superintendents and school board members can't take money from the AEA if they qualify as Republicans. Two issues here. One, a lot of those positions are not elected. Two, a lot of those positions are nonpartisan, depending on where you are.
Correct.
Three, The legislature can continue taking money. What an absolute joke.
Oh.
I know it says, did Tuberville do it, but that's not really the question.
No.
The question is, what is the point of this ruling here?
Okay, so listen though, this is hilarious. It is so funny because the people who would be opposed to it, Republicans who take AEA money, cannot come out and speak out against this. You know, it's just been one of those things, like you said, an awful lot of money, right, from the AEA that goes to Republican candidates. Well, this just shows the divide between elected officials and ALGOP. So as a spectator, I find this hilarious.
Yeah.
The other issue, though, is when this is happening in these committee meetings and things like that, they can vote to expand this.
Yeah, they absolutely could. They could grow it and say, hey, let's go ahead and do things differently if they wanted to. They absolutely could, or they could do nothing.
They might, though.
But the point is this: it's just a weird thing because we know they're taking AEA money. We know this. This is a bone of contention often in Republican primaries.
It is.
It hasn't been
Like, he took AEA money,
Yeah,
this. I mean, it is. But they still do it.
Yes, the AEA is a player now, or has been a player in the state for decades, and now they're a player in the Republican Party. If a rule like this were to pass and be enforced, we might have a different situation. But it was said to me by a person who ran for Secretary of State, why should I limit myself? I'm not doing the AEA's bidding. But if they agree with me more than my opponent, why shouldn't they give me money in a Republican primary?
No, and I mean that's a very valid argument that many of the candidates have made, and I'm not arguing with it. I'm just enjoying the spectacle to come from it.
Well, they're out there saying, we killed school choice and taking credit for it, which is putting a gigantic target on them.
Absolutely.
I mean, that is really an issue for them. All right, moving on. Donald Trump and Joe Biden. This is an important thing that we should talk about. And I don't know, call me a crazy person, but is there anyone else? I mean, is there really anyone else that we could possibly be talking about? Donald Trump in arraignment once again over some January 6th stuffs. Not guilty, by the way, he pled. I was very surprised. I thought he'd go in there and plead guilty or something like that. Joe Biden, on the other hand, every single day he's being proven to be a bigger liar and a more terrible person. And it's rather interesting. Haven't seen too much of it on the news, but Tucker Carlson sat down with Devon Archer after he spoke to the congressional committee, and Devon Archer's like, yeah, he called in on the speakerphone. It was a soft power. It was probably an abuse of soft power. And then he also sent me a letter afterwards thanking me for being in business with his son on these foreign deals. It's quite an increase from the position Joe Biden had, or quite a change, excuse me, from the position Joe Biden had, where he said, I don't know, what's his name? Hunter? Is that my son? Oh, okay, yeah. No, I don't know anything about that situation. This has changed a lot.
Okay.
Now, to move into the actual question.
Yes.
Is there anybody else? Like anyone else? I mean, can we have Robert F. Kennedy versus Vivek Ramaswamy? I mean, can we have that election? Is there anyone else, Megan?
No, this looks like it. This is it. It looks like this is it. And all the things you talk about, it's not changing their numbers. Like, really, on either side, if you support them, you're in. If you support Trump, you don't care about the charges. If you support Biden, you don't care about the, alleged shady business dealings.
The incumbency of Joe Biden and the support they're giving him makes a lot of sense because Kamala Harris is there, and you really worry about that aspect of it. I mean,
I'm sure she has many supporters as well.
Yeah, I'm sure she does. As she said the other day, when they say your approval ratings are at record lows, she says, well, some say they're at record highs, which nobody does. But it's just interesting to hear her say it. The point here is this. With Trump, the Republicans have a choice. There's an entire field here.
Yeah.
Anyone else, and I'm telling you, we love victims in America. Republicans and Democrats both love victims. You victimize our guys, we're going to rally behind them.
The persecuted.
Yeah, persecution complex. And we're going to rally behind them even stronger and say, yes, more of that person. And it looks like that. So Trump, Biden, too.
Well, remember, this is what the Biden supporters want. They want Trump, Biden.
Of course they do. I mean, why wouldn't they? I mean, their other message is Bidenomics, and we just got downgraded on our credit rating for the nation. So, all right. Moms for Liberty. You know, Becca, you brought this up a couple weeks ago, and I guess I should listen to you more.
I want to point this out. No, exactly, because this is one of the things I had to be like, no, you need to put. We argue about topics, and I had to tell you, like, no, this needs to be a part of it. And now look, just like redistricting.
Do you want to go ahead or can I?
No, go ahead.
Okay. All right, let's talk a little bit about Moms for Liberty here for a second. They were supposed to have an event. at a library in Madison. It got pretty big. Kirk Cameron and Riley Gaines as well, the swimmer who has been out there voicing opposition against Leah Thomas, the transgender swimmer from Penn State. They were going to have an event. Well, the event they originally scheduled was for 25 people. They think they're going to have far more people than that. I mean, they're bringing Mike Seaver from Growing Pains. Come on. That's who they're bringing in here, and it's going to be a big event. The library says, no, we're not going to do it. As of the recording of this, the library said we're canceling the event, and there's been some talk of lawsuits from Kirk Cameron and the book company. Here's the issue, though. The Alabama Library Association, the American Library Association, has put out stuff to their members saying, here's how you fight events like this. And that makes it look like there's just denying it for the sake of denying it. I've been told that's not the case. I'm skeptical of this. I talked to the mayor personally this morning, and he said, look, it's going to be hard for us to police it. My response is, oh, well, you need to. But go ahead, Becca. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I was just going to give the reason for the library, the capacity.
Oh, they just say they don't have the capacity to get it done.
Exactly. Okay, so what I will say to this, because I know everybody's going to be, going to the conspiracy theory, like, no, they're just trying to silence them and shut this down. As a resident of Madison, I have to say they are ridiculously by the book. Like, oh, if this is one person over, it's off. It's done. I mean, I have worked on charity events before that would benefit the city of Madison, and it was. You just have to jump through hoops to get things done.
That's fine and good, but that is not how this is going to be perceived.
I'm not saying I know it's not how it's going to be perceived, but I'm just saying that is one. You said you have your doubts. I have to give you my personal testimony that Madison is very, very by the book.
Mo Brooks on the radio on Thursday said it best to Yaffe, who's a regular guest on here. He said, here's what you do. You count people coming in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 25. And they say, that's it. And then everyone else has to stay outside. And you let the event go on, and it is what it is. I mean, you try to... this is what I always say in these situations. We all too often try to say, no, we're canceling it because of threats. They even had talk of, there's threats at the courthouse because Donald Trump's going to be there. They say this all the time. Stop it. Here's the reality. Try to get to yes. Don't try to get to no. Try to get to yes and figure out how to do it. That's what they probably should do in these situations instead of just calling them off. That's just my take.
But I don't think this is over, and it's just...
Oh, no. By the time you see this, the whole event might be over because it's happening Saturday morning. But you might also have a lot of legal rigmarole going on, too. So a lot of fun there for everyone involved. Coming up next, Grayson Everett will be with us. He covers Alabama politics for Yellowhammer News. We'll talk with him. Stay tuned.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here, and this is my son, Grant. Now, I'm here to talk to you about Top Shelf Customized Cleaning. He's a handful, I'm a handful, and if I want to stay married, I need Top Shelf Customized Cleaning to come and take care of my house. They do an amazing job for me, and they'll do an amazing job for you. Cindy loves them, I love them, Grant loves them as well. Check them out on Facebook, Top Shelf Customized Cleaning. And don't forget, call them today, 256-417-9122. And when you talk to them, make sure you tell them Grant sent you.
Want fun, safe, intelligent fitness programming? Want to build muscular strength, cardiovascular endurance, drastically improve range of motion and mobility, and learn proper nutrition to fuel your life with energy and emotional health? Well, come find out why Iron Tribe Fitness is ranked one of the top 5 fitness programs in America. Come find out why personal training and intentionally working on your current movement patterns individually is not only important, it's just another core value that separates Iron Tribe Fitness from other fitness facilities.
To learn how to get your 2-week free pass, go to irontribefitness.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here, and this is my son, Grant. Now, I'm here to talk to you about Top Shelf Customized Cleaning. He's a handful, I'm a handful, and if I want to stay married, I need Top Shelf Customized Cleaning to come and take care of my house. They do an amazing job for me, and they'll do an amazing job for you. Cindy loves them, I love them, Grant loves them as well. Check them out on Facebook, Top Shelf Customized Cleaning. And don't forget, call them today, 256-417-9122. And when you talk to them, make sure you tell them Grant sent you.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Do you use pesticides in your job, specifically Roundup? Then keep watching for details on how you could be compensated for the damages done to your health. Roundup, made by Monsanto, contains a chemical called glyphosate, which has been linked to cancer. If you've used Roundup and you have cancer, you may be entitled to a cash award. Over $10 billion has been set aside to pay users of Roundup who've been diagnosed with cancer. Time is almost running out to file your claim. So if you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've used Roundup, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. We're here 24/7 to help, and time to file is almost gone, so please call right now.
Welcome back to Alabama Politics This Week. I am Dale Jackson. With me, as always, Mecca Music. And our guest this week, a staff writer for Yellowhammer News, Grayson Everett. He's been covering the Space Command hubbub that has been going on for the last couple of days. Grayson, when this story broke, I don't think many people were surprised. Do you think the congressional members had letters ready to go, press releases ready to go, depending on what the decision was? Either way, that's how much this was already baked in?
I think so. I think that, this is multiple years running, going back to, Spacecom getting its footing in 2019. In 2021, of course, with Biden taking office, things looking much less clear for it. And since then, multiple government reviews, indicating Redstone is the number one choice, and Colorado's delegation very upset and causing a fit. The long story is, I don't think that Biden had any real supposition to move it to Alabama, which is something that's been delayed for multiple years. So I think everyone saw this coming, but it's no less of a disappointment.
I sensed anger. I mean, there was like anger in Dale Strong's messaging. There was anger in Robert Aderholt's appearance on CNN that night. There was legitimate anger. Did you sense that?
Yeah, and I absolutely take them at their word, because you got to ask, what's more of a threat to national security? A basing move that General Dickinson said would impact readiness, or the reality of the White House and the Biden Pentagon sitting on multiple enormous government reports and kicking the can down the road for years. You got to ask, which is the bigger threat?
Now, Grayson, you, in your position, you talk to a lot of elected leaders, the leaders that we just spoke about, and Dale asked you about their anger. I want to ask you, what were you hearing that wasn't part of the statement, though, that was being kind of leaked out from the audience or the offices of these elected leaders, and how they really feel, in addition to the more strongly worded statements?
Yeah, I would probably say the trickery of it. I mean, Biden's announcement came the first working day after Congress left for the August recess. So, I mean, really just the absolute, political and tactical timing of it, I think, is really the biggest rub.
Do you think the Colorado delegation knew that basically a continuous pressure effort would work? I mean, we saw over the last couple of months, it started, some news media stories came, and I think those were sent to sort of nudge people in the right direction there as well. Do you think that played a role? And did Colorado know that if they just kept it up, they would finally get what they wanted?
Right. Well, I mean, in May of 2022 was when the the United States Air Force Inspector General and Government Accountability Office report came out, indicating, it was the report on all reports, indicating that the initial selection process, which showed Redstone Arsenal was the top choice, that was May 2022. Colorado has known about it. Everyone's known about it. It's just more of a denial of that and the politicking that's interluded.
In Colorado, it's weird. The Colorado GOP came out and said, hey, look, we don't want it if it's over this issue, over the issue of abortion. And I've made this pretty clear earlier The Tuberville stuff is very recent. It has nothing to do with this. If they weren't blaming Tuberville, they'd be talking about how it was about Alabama's abortion law as a whole, or transgender sports laws, or something like this. I know I see it all on television all the time about the Hold thing, where you have service members saying, well, I'm not going to come there if my daughter can't get an abortion. That is not how real human beings operate in the real world. So it's just kind of silly to hear all of that. But what about the defense of Tuberville on this? Some have come out, even in Colorado, and said this is stupid. That's not what this is. But what do you think about that? Have you heard anything from them, other members maybe upset about Tuberville in the position he's in right now?
Right. Well, it's very interesting because Tuberville is in a pretty public conflict directly with Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin. But what we know from this week is that Secretary Austin and the Secretary of the Air Force, Frank Kendall, were actually okay and in favor of the reports for Huntsville and ultimately moving it to Redstone. And then it was Dickinson who wanted to keep the base in Colorado, and ultimately Biden himself kind of made that tiebreaker decision. But with everything that they've publicly released, saying the holds didn't impact the decision, I think at the end of the day, it's just so clear to everybody that there couldn't have been a better time for the White House to make, such a shameless decision.
Well, and you mentioned the decision, the timing, and things like that. What about, is there more information that's going to come out and cloud it up? We were talking about, like, the fight is probably not over. Dale says Space Command coming to Huntsville is over, but the fight's not over. The fight will continue. What do you think about that?
Right. And, just today, Representative Rogers, who's chairman of the House Armed Services Committee, fired off another letter to Kendall and Dickinson requesting documents and requesting transcribed interviews. So that's just today. Everything's happening quick, and Congress doesn't return to meet on this, and Alabama's delegation can't do anything in D.C. about it until after Labor Day when they get back. But they're still on it. I mean, that was a pretty aggressive letter on his part. And, of course, the rest of the delegation is following suit. Dale Strong in his role on armed services as well. And even Terry Sewell, very much wanting to pursue this and looking at it as well. So what that will look like, I don't know. But I definitely don't think it's going to go quietly.
Terry Sewell, like you just mentioned, the lone Democrat in the delegation, coming on board and saying this was a political move. She said something else was a political move later. We'll talk about it in a second. But she said it was a political move. It's very rare to hear someone from within inside their own political party make that kind of statement. Were you surprised to see that?
Right. I think so. Always a little bit. But, again, our entire congressional delegation is very much focused on national security. And the interplay between Alabama and national security. And I think what Congresswoman Sewell is thinking about is that, ultimately this could have been over and done with, and Space Command could be firing on full cylinders in the location that it was perfect for in her state. But, she also knew that I'm sure that Biden had zero desire to make that happen years ago. But with space being, such an accelerating, important domain of warfare, I think she also recognizes that, that poses a threat, and that, it's unfair and wrong. So I think on this, I take her at her word as well.
Real quick, last thing here. I was kind of amused, but I saw this on cable news a couple times too. Space Command is not Space Force. Space Force is not Space Command. And it's amazing how many people got that wrong. Were you shocked by that?
Yeah, that's right. Much different. And you can kind of tell between, who's picking sides and who's really looking at it, and maybe more of the meme stock value of the whole thing.
All right, there we go. There you go. Grayson Everett, thank you very much. YellowHammerNews.com. Check him out. He's there. He's got tons of stuff going on that website. Very active. Mecca's gone. Show gets better. I'm Dale Jackson. Stay tuned. Alabama Politics this week. Last segment coming up.
Want fun, safe, intelligent fitness programming? Want to build muscular strength, cardiovascular endurance, drastically improve range of motion and mobility, and learn proper nutrition to fuel your life with energy and emotional health? Well, come find out why Iron Tribe Fitness is ranked one of the top 5 fitness programs in America. Come find out why personal training and intentionally working on your current movement patterns individually is not only important, it's just another core value that separates Iron Tribe Fitness from other fitness facilities.
To learn how to get your 2-week free pass, go to irontribefitness.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here, and this is my son, Grant. Now, I'm here to talk to you about Top Shelf Customized Cleaning. He's a handful, I'm a handful, and if I want to stay married, I need Top Shelf Customized Cleaning to come and take care of my house. They do an amazing job for me, and they'll do an amazing job for you. Cindy loves them. I love them. Grant loves them as well. Check them out on Facebook. Top Shelf Customized Cleaning. And don't forget, call them today, 256-417-9122. And when you talk to them, make sure you tell them Grant sent you. Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for my friends at University Kia. Now look, I love Kias. I've driven plenty of them. I used to have a Kia Sportage. When my son was born, my wife said, no, we got to get ourselves one of these big SUVs. The Telluride from University Kia is an absolutely amazing vehicle. You get it at a great price, but you get everything at University Kia at a great price. Learn more about them today. Head on over to universitykia.com. Find the perfect vehicle for you, new and pre-owned. They got it for you. universitykia.com.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Are you sick of your tax problems? Harry is retired and on a fixed income. He missed some tax payments. Will the IRS take everything he's got? Mitch is a small business owner. He's been dodging the IRS for years, but now he's facing an audit. Michael is a truck driver. He doesn't have time to spend hours on his taxes, but the IRS doesn't care, and he may lose everything. Mary is disabled. How can she possibly defend herself against the IRS? These people and thousands of others like them are sick of their tax problems. Are you? If you owe over $10,000 to the IRS, it's time to call the Tax Doctor. The Tax Doctor has saved clients just like you over $250 million in tax debt. Our uniquely skilled attorneys and accountants work tirelessly to secure the most aggressive settlement options available to you. It's time to stop the bank levies, wage garnishments, and asset seizures. If you owe over $10,000 to the IRS, call the Tax Doctor now to maximize your protection against aggressive IRS tactics with a minimum payment afforded by law.
Well, welcome back to Alabama Politics This Week. I am Dale Jackson. Thank you very much for being here. We're about to jump into the parting shot, but before I do, let me tell you about YellowHammerNews.com. Go to that website. Get all sorts of great stuff like videos. I make some almost every single day. The 7 things you should be talking about today, right there for you on that website, and easily deliverable to your email inbox. Go there, sign up for my email blast. Get the 7 things you should be talking about today delivered to your email inbox every day, Monday through Friday, by like 8 o'clock. So go check it out right there. For now, let's go ahead and get to the parting shot. My parting shot this week is directed at Terry Sewell. Well, actually, not really Terry Sewell, more or less her constituents, because they don't understand what they're doing. Terry Sewell came out this week, called out President Biden for his political move on the Space Command, and then she got taken to the woodshed by her constituents. Very upset that she would go help the people who are the enemies of her district. I don't think anyone is actually the enemy of her district, not let alone Mike Rogers or Dale Strong or Robert Aderholt or anyone else. But they were upset that she was agreeing with the Republicans in defending the state of Alabama. And Terry Sewell's in a very interesting situation right now. This new congressional map we're looking at has changed her district significantly. She lost Selma. She lost Montgomery. Now, all of these things could change, but as of right now, that's where it's at. Her election got a lot harder, not just in a general election, because moving her down to 50-plus majority and minority puts her seat in play. But also, it could put her seat in play for another type of Democrat, maybe a blue dog Democrat, one that plays a little nicer with Republicans, maybe a Joe Manchin. These possibilities exist. A Joe Manchin like
person. These possibilities exist, and Terry Sewell is dealing with a whole new political reality, and she's getting pounded by her constituents because she's standing up for the state over a blatantly political move. She also tweeted out something pretty silly this week, saying that what was happening with Donald Trump and the indictments was the political process playing out. Telling on yourself in that situation, because it's not supposed to be political when you're going to the court system. But that's another matter. We'll talk about it another time. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for watching Alabama Politics This Week. We'll be back next week.